everyone, welcome to the next video from this page of lost items. I think that might be what I called it, lost items, from Rooms of Wonder by Johanna Basford. I am going to be using my Staedtler Design Journey pencils again for this page. Now we've got a basket of goodies, we've got lots of different things to colour, so we'll get cracking. I'm going to actually just put a base colour, I think, on the basket so I can sort of get started with that. I'm going to use the number 49, which is fawn, and I'm going to just use this to put a gentle layer across the whole of the basket, and then we'll think about shading and whatever. I'm just trying to work out, I'm talking even slower than normal because I'm going around this ribbon and label and just trying to work out what's going on with the basket. I think that's right. Yeah, that's a knot, isn't it? We've got this bit going across here. Oh, look at that bread. I do love bread. And some people think it's unhealthy, but I guess too much of it probably is. And if you have... Now what's that? I'm thinking that's basket. That's how I'm going to do it. But no, I like my bread. But I always have wholemeal bread. And we are very lucky to have a good farmer's market. I'm going to use a slightly darker tone. This is the burnt sienna, it's number 73, and I'm just going to mark out areas I think might be darker. So I think sort of the bottom might have been more in shadow, and the edge just to give it some shape, and then just sort of fade that around. Yes, so we have a great farmer's market. It was actually I think it was the Times newspaper did a survey of the best farmers markets, and ours came in the top 10, so that was rather good, and we're very lucky. I think I will make that a bit dark on the edge. And we have a lovely local bakery which has the bread stall. Well, there's actually three bread stalls, so we tend to buy at the most expensive. We're very lucky that we can afford to do that. I want to go quite dark now, so I'm going to use the 76. I think this is the just heard a big noise. The Van Dyke brown made me jump. It's my son going downstairs, getting some chocolate maybe. My boys like their chocolate nearly as much as me. Might be getting a drink. Yeah, I can hear the tap running. He's getting a drink. Yeah, my boys are home this week because it's the Easter holidays. They are revising, but I can't help them really. I can sort of nudge them to concentrate, but apart from that I can't really help them. But actually he had his, I'm just going to make it a little bit darker right on the edge. He had his interview for uni today at last and got his unconditional offer, which means he doesn't have to actually get any grades to get in. He does still want to do well, which I think they check for in the interview. It takes the pressure off. It means that he doesn't have to aim at something very specific. I know him, he'll want to do really well, but it's really good news. Very proud of them both, being able to find courses that they want to do and do well in the interview. I'm going to do this, just mark these bits. I think it just makes it look a little bit more like a woven basket, and then I think I'm going to leave it at that. Although I might do a little bit more in the handle. There we go. I think I really want to make it look... I'm going to sharpen my pencil. I think that will help me. There we go. Now, I think I really want it to look quite a bit darker under each of these. That's better. Put a little bit on the edge just to give it a tad more shape. I might just mark out these a bit more too, just bottom and side. Oh, I said I wasn't going to do much more, and now I am. Now this this spotty bit, I really want it to be red and white. That's just what it feels like it needs to be to me. So I'm just going to grab a red. I think the number 2 is probably the best red for this. Just trying to find it. Or is that a little bit? Yeah, it looks a bit orange in my camera, but I think it's in my eye. But when I swatched it, it was really dark red. Because I swatched them out on my scrap bit of paper with the names. This one's called Red. So in theory, it should be red. It does look a little bit orangey red. But then the other red is pinky red. So we'll see. If it's a bit too orangey, I'll go over it. But I'm putting it down quite thickly actually. Because I really want the white to show up as white. Now, I could use a white pen, but there we go. Yeah, I'm happy with how that looks actually. If you have quite a sharp pencil, I'm pressing a bit too hard really, but never mind. But both of my boys will be staying at home, at least for their first year of uni. Be a lot cheaper for them, although they have to travel, and it's quite a, I think that might be cloth. I know I did it as basket, but now I'm thinking it's cloth. They'll have about an hour and 15-minute commute, something like that, but it'll be much cheaper than paying rent in a different town. So the idea is they stay home. I'm hoping it'll work out for them. I'm just trying to think of a colour that might provide a little bit of shadow on the edges to help, because on the basket down here I made it darker to try and make it look more rounded, but here it's very flat. And I'm going to try this colour. This colour's called Mauve. It's number 260. It is a slightly purpley red, but I think it might just add the sort of dark shadowiness that I'm looking for on this edge. Yeah, that's worked very nicely. The sun's just gone in. Hopefully it's put a bit under there. I think there'll be some shadow from the, because it's at the bottom, and there'd definitely be some under there, like that. Just putting a bit into them where the cloth is sort of knotted. I think that might have been supposed to be a white dot, but never mind. There we go. I'm rather happy with how that one's worked out. I need to put a bit on this side though, don't I? There we go. Yeah. Okay. Now we've got our items in the basket. The first one is this sort of red. I think I'm going to use number 16, which is the golden ochre. I think it might work. I'll pop it on and have a look, because I don't want it to be as dark as the basket, and also personally I prefer my bread not burnt, but I'm thinking if I put more on the top it will look like it's caught it a bit a little bit, and actually I'm just going to use the 49, which was the fawn, just to put a little bit more on there. Whoops. Just a little bit of colour. Just might be a bit more colourful on the top. That's all I'm going to do with that. We could put some darker bits in the grooves where there would be a shadow. Perhaps we should. I'm thinking rather than doing brown, because that'll look like burn, I'll do a brownish grey. The number 85 is our warm grey. Just trying to find it. Here it is. So we'll use that, and we'll just put a little bit in there. Hopefully that looks like shadow and not dirt. Anyway, we shall move on. Now, what's this? Piece of cheese? That's how I'm going to colour it. What else would you have with bread? But cheese. Now I'm thinking the yellow, which is number 1, is going to be the best. It's quite bright. Now I'm thinking if this is a brie, it would have a different colour, but actually I'm just going to do it all in this colour. That's a bit bright for cheese, isn't it? We'll get another yellow on there. We'll get number 11 on there as well. It's a bit more orangey. I think it might help us. Yeah, that will tone it down just a bit. This is it's called sand, by the way. This colour. If you I think I said in the last video, rather like a boring old record. If you want a chart with the colour names on, I've got one for all of the, I think there's 72. Number 61, which is dark mauve. I'm going to put on the grapes as a really light base coat. Yeah, there's a chart on my Ko-fi shop with the colour names. It's quite fun to know what the names are, I always think. Right, so I don't want it too dark because that's just not going to be my final grape colour. I'm going to use number 6, which is the violet. And I'm going to go around the edge of each grape like that and leave a little bit in the middle, which will look hopefully like shine, but it's still got a bit of that pink in there. It's not white, which I think is quite fun. You can leave it as white if you want, or you can even put a bit of white pen on for shine, which I seem to remember I was going to do on my last video for the gems on the what's it flipping called? On the jewellery box, music box, that's it, music box. But I didn't. I think in the end I wimped out because these dots are so small. Okay, we've got our little bit of stalky stick or whatever it is and leaf. Now I quite like doing a rather bluey green to go with the grapes. I think it just seems to work better. I am going to grab the number 5, which is called green. It's very very original and exciting name. Just going to fade it a bit towards the end. Now grapes are probably really pale, more like the light olive, number 56, but I just think that colour works with the purple, so that's why I'm doing that now. What is that square thing in the basket? What's that? Is that a tablet computer? A notebook, a colouring book? I don't know. Apples. I'm going to do the apples green. Might seem a bit boring, but I think we've got the, I don't want to take away from the red of the pretty cloth. So number 52, which is our sap green, And I'm going to do both apples in this colour. Light layer first. And then think about where the shadow is going to be. It's going to be a bit darker here, I think. And we'll do the same on this side so that it sort of matches. Although that doesn't necessarily make any sense. We'll put a bit darker on that side too, because actually if the edges are darker it'll look more spherical. And we'll go for we'll take the number 50, which is the willow green, and finish them off with this. I don't know what sort of apples these are. Granny Smiths maybe? Not very keen on a Granny Smith, I have to say. A bit sour. I like the crunch and juiciness of them though. Right, stem. I think we might go for the 5 again, just because it's a little bit different, so it will stand out. Usually the apple core is brown, not the core, the stick. Let's use some brown. How we're out, we've got a brown here. Let's grab number 76 again, put it over the top. It will look a bit greeny brown then. There we go. Now we have 2 other circles. I'm thinking let's do them as oranges. I think the most orange colour, meaning orange fruit colour, is the orange colour, which is number 4, but I'm actually going to use the light orange first, which is number 42, and then use the 4 after. So I'm going to make both this and this into an orange. I think it's easier. Oh, I was about to put that away. I'm leaving them out so that I can write down for you what colours I've used. So the number 4 is the darker orange, and I'm going to use that sort of on the edges, trying to make it look a little bit brighter and more spherical just by using it on the outside. I don't know if that made a huge difference. I know what's missing from this basket, but it's buried at the bottom, I think. A big bar of chocolate. Now the bottle, I'm thinking water bottle. I'm thinking let's do it a blue. I'm thinking I want to do it number 30 is the blue I'm looking for, but I can't find it. There it is. Number 30. Oops, it is the light blue. I'm just gonna, gosh, it's not that light, is it? I'm gonna sort of fade it towards the middle. I'm thinking it might be a Chili's bottle made of metal, or it might even be a plastic bottle that isn't see-through. We just don't know. I'm just fiddling. There we go. And the lid, I'm doing a darker colour. Let's use the Delft blue, which is number 63. I still don't know what that thing is in the background. I feel like I want to look at some photos, what other people have done. It could be a lunchbox. It could be, no food is square like that, unless it's a huge bar of chocolate. I don't think it is. That's big. You can get big ones, but really, it's too big. Let's do it as a lunchbox and just colour the lid in a, what colour should we use? Would you have a red lunchbox to match your basket? I think you might. I know. Let's use the darker colour we used. This was the 260, which was called mauve. We use that, and then because there's an element of that in the red, but we introduce a new colour at the same time. I'm just putting it on with a medium pressure. I'm thinking maybe here would be in a little bit, make it a bit darker. So maybe this is like a sort of brim of some sort. There, if you squint a bit, you can almost pretend it's chocolate. I'm obsessed. I really am. Now the label, I think it'd be fun to match it in with one of the items, but I think if we do it with 61, which is the light mauve, is dark mauve, sorry, the colour is in the grapes, but it isn't really obvious. I was going to do all the tags the same colour, but I've already messed that up by doing this one in pink. I think it's a bit of fun to just do one that sort of matches, or maybe that doesn't. But anyway, there we go. And what we need is a little bit of shadowing. Should we use the black? I think that's probably the best idea. I'm just going to give it a sharpen. The black is number 9. There we go. And I'm going to do a little bit of shadow behind the label here. I think I might cast a shadow on the basket there. A bit underneath the ribbons. I tried to do a bit in brown, but it didn't really show up, so do in black. It will show, and here. And then we can do a little bit along the edge of here, just where things are overlapping. They would cast a little bit of a shadow, like here. Don't want too much, maybe a bit more there. She says I don't want too much, and then fiddles and faddles and fiddles and faddles. I think we'll leave it there, it's gone all squippy. There we go. I've had a lot of fun with that one. So I hope that's been okay. Just a lot of pencils. I should have to make a long list of what I've used. Take me ages to put them back. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you're not too hungry. Have a really lovely day and happy colouring.